Hello, welcome to the Sous Chef Kitchen. Today I'm here with Jeremy Pang, founder of the School of Wok, cookbook author and TV host. Jeremy, what are we cooking today?
Well, we're cooking two of my favourite dishes. So we're doing a flash-fried venison with broccoli and a tamarind sauce. And then we're going to finish off with some wontons that are steamed in a chili chicken broth.
Both of these recipes are from your brand new cookbook,
Chinese Kitchen,
which is
yes.
really exciting.
It is exciting.
Brought us together.
It took about 2 years for the cover to get right.
Yeah.
I like to break down Chinese cooking into 6 or 7 core techniques. And those core techniques are stir frying, of course, which is why we're doing this dish. Steaming, very important. So we're going to do steamed wontons, although there's some intricacies to steaming wontons, which we can talk about as we go. And then the other ones are deep frying, braising, poaching, roasting, or double cooking.
What's double cooking?
Double cooking is where you piece together 2 or more of those core techniques.
Right.
And then once you've done that, the rest is easy. So I'm actually, like, with this stir fry here, just starting it off with building up what I like to call the wok clock.
Yeah. I love that phrase. What's the wok clock?
The wok clock is this, right? It's a round plate. Everyone's got a round plate at home, so everyone's got a wok clock. And the reason why I think it's so useful is not just for Chinese food, but for any food or any cooking, is that it helps to organise your recipe. And once you've prepared your ingredients, everything is there. We start at 12 o'clock with our first ingredient. I want to really sear this ginger and the spring onion, and that's where your oil's going to get the flavour. And then you go in and cook the rest. So it's usually hardest vegetables first, and then if you want to sear your beef and things like that. Or in this case, I've got venison because actually my wife doesn't eat beef, so I made this dish up for her, really. So I'm going to marinate this venison up now. Light soy sauce we always use in marinades because it's basically Chinese salt. Whereas dark soy sauce is more for colour and texture, light soy sauce more for seasoning and marinades. This is rice wine, so Shaoxing rice wine. Very, very aromatic. Has this sort of almost like savoury base flavour to it as well. Sesame oil, classic Cantonese ingredient. Like that at the moment you can see is quite watery. Obviously I'm going to mix that in. Even before I put any cornstarch into this, the real key is like when you're marinating your meat, you should be able to massage it to a point where all that flavour is in the meat, not at the bottom of the bowl. Cornstarch or corn flour, we call it here, right? So I find if I put it into the meat, when it hits the wok, it will seal nicely. You'll get almost like charring around the edge of it, and it cooks the cornstarch for longer. And therefore, when we add liquid, the sauce later on, that sauce will then become quite silky smooth.
Lovely.
And that's what I'm looking for.
Lovely. And you can see all that liquid at the beginning. It's just all kind of being absorbed.
Yeah, exactly. And you get this creaminess around the meat. That's important. The only thing that I would say I want to do with the stir fry to make sure I'm fully prepped is make up the sauce. Because again, I don't really want to have to think about it. Tamarind, if you don't know, is quite sour, but I think it's got this almost salty sour flavour, as opposed to just like sour like lemons. And so that's why, because of its sourness, you do need to sweeten it up somewhat. So hoisin sauce, I find, works really well with that. Not just because it's sweet, but it's sweet and savoury, and it's also got a thickness to it that caramelizes nicely in the wok.
Lovely.
Yep. The other ingredient's also quite sweet, and this is like the 3rd iteration of soy sauce, which is ketchup melis. It's more of a Southeast Asian soy sauce, and you can see the texture on that.
So glossy and beautiful, isn't it?
I mean, you can literally use that for desserts. So you can see, like, between the hoisin sauce and the ketchup melis, that you're going to get a lot of, like, balance of sweetness to balance out that sour.
Okay.
So give that a mix, and those 3 ingredients will completely change the tamarind. You can have a little taste if you like. It's not sweet. It's not overly sweet.
Oh, it's delicious.
Yeah, it's lovely, isn't it?
Really good.
Balance. A balance of flavour, texture and colour. That is key to Chinese cooking.
So simple.
Yeah.
So tasty.
Really easy. I've got some chicken stock as well, but I'll keep that for the actual stir fry.
Great,
process.
okay.
So that sauce will kind of go at the end of my wok clock, like that.
Beautiful.
In this bowl of pre-prepped ingredients, I've got finely chopped up garlic and spring onion. Could add some ginger as well. Some coriander, dry mushrooms or shiitake mushrooms. We tend to use dry mushrooms as opposed to fresh mushrooms because dry mushrooms soak in a lot of moisture.
That's interesting.
Whereas with fresh mushrooms, they will release their moisture when they cook.
Yeah, okay.
And so especially for dumplings, you want them to suck up all the flavour, but you don't want the moisture to leak out into the pastry.
Yeah.
Chinese leaf, finely chopped again. You can use any type of veg, cabbage, whatever you want, really.
You've chopped that so beautifully as well with your beautiful cleaver.
Yes, so I'm going to use my cleaver now, and the only thing I've left to show you to chop is the prawns.
Great.
I'll do a couple, you can do some. Yeah? I've specifically left the cleaver for the prawns because the surface area is really good for this. And that is that if I take a few prawns like so, and you tend to like bring the prawn down to the bottom of the board, and then with the surface area of the cleaver, you can bash it.
Quite
right?
a big bash, Joe.
Yeah, you really get, yeah, if your kids are giving you a stressful day, this is good. This is good therapy.
It's a good recipe for that.
Give it a good smash, like so, and then push it to the side.
That's so
and then
great.
You smash it again and push it to the side. Once you've smashed a load of prawns up like that, then just up and down with your cleaver, and you've got minced prawns. You want to have a go?
I'll give it a go.
Have a go? Yeah,
I've got some tension to release.
All right, okay, so,
How many are we going for?
Well, let's go for quite a few because we want to make the mix. Yeah, we want to make the mix.
Does it matter which side?
You don't want to wrap your knuckles.
Yeah, thank you.
So, what you want to do is bring that down here, and it's best this way, not that way, because you don't want to point the blade at yourself.
Yep.
Okay?
Great.
That way. Whoa! It's got a lot of anger.
But mine's not nearly as flat as yours. So
Yeah,
give it another bash.
Give it another bash. Yes.
Oh, okay, there we
good,
go.
yeah.
That was quite a big
You want to be able to use sort of this part of your knife a little
Thank you.
bit
I don't
more,
want to
okay?
damage your beautiful
No,
knife.
you won't.
as well.
Don't worry. I've done worse.
Tell me a bit about a cleaver. It's not the word cleaver can be confusing for people.
Yeah,
can't
this
they?
is a cleaver, not a chopper. It's made for slicing.
Yeah.
And you can see from the sort of thinness of the blade, it should just kind of glide through your food.
Yeah, and it's a very up and down motion as opposed to any kind of rock chop or
actually,
something.
no.
It will tell me,
Most of
yes.
the time, it's slicing. With the prawns, you can pretty much just go up and down.
Yep.
And that's a chop. But 80% of the time, this is used for slicing. Once these prawns are minced, it's just a case of seasoning them, making your dumplings, and then we'll get onto the cooking.
Yeah.
No, this is all going to go in together with the mix. So we've got garlic, spring onion, coriander, shiitake mushrooms, and some cabbage or some Chinese leaf.
Beautiful.
With the prawns. Some light soy sauce, sesame oil, and a good generous pinch of sugar in there, and then give it a good mix. These pastries are quite thick and dry. I say that steaming is actually quite a dry cooking process.
Right, okay.
When steam engulfs your food, it doesn't mean that it's actually going to like penetrate the skin of these dumplings properly.
Yeah, okay.
Which is why I pour this broth over the top just before we steam it into like a little pasta bowl. So here's our little bowl where we can put the dumplings in, and you can take one.
Thank
and
you.
We'll go for like, what, 6? I'll do first a teaspoon of mix, and I'm going to put a little bit of water around the edge of my pastry, like so. And then we're going to go diagonally, centre to centre, and squeeze that together, right?
Yeah.
Then you just use your index finger and push down one side, and then the other side to make a triangle, kind of like a samosa, yeah? Once you've got your samosa or triangle shape, then this is what we like to call the Dark Knight Rising. Whoop, okay? Right, when you make your little Batman shape. Once you've got your Batman shape, a little dab of water over the edge of one of Batman's ears, and you overlap and squeeze from the middle up.
Perfect. So I'm dabbing around the corner, and I'm going up, pinch that nice and hard.
Yeah, and then put it down,
and then down.
Index finger to close,
And then on
the
this
other
side,
side,
nice and fat.
and then arrow pointing downwards.
Yep.
Pull your Batman ears up. Whoop. Yep. Yeah, pull them together, overlap and squeeze.
And give a nice squeeze.
It's like
Great.
a tortellini kind of. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and that shape, especially around this time of year, is to give you good wealth because it's supposed to look like an old school like gold ingot. I would recommend, like, if you're making any dumplings at home, if you can, always use fresh filling so that you can then just make all your dumplings and then freeze them.
Great.
And then you just add an extra minute on top of the recipe. Let's say it says 3 to 4 minutes in a recipe. Cook it for 5 from frozen.
Lovely.
Yeah?
Great.
And that's what we do at home, and then you've always got something, you know. This broth that we talked about, I've got some chicken stock, oyster sauce, and some chil chow chili oil, and I'm just literally going to mix it all together like this to wet the pastry so that it doesn't come out or dry and kind of raw, we just pour this chili broth over the top of those dumplings so that they can steam nicely. We're going to work on the stir fry first before anything else. Number one lesson on wok cooking is high heat.
Yep.
Do you want to do this?
Go on then.
Okay, all right.
No such thing as a free lunch.
I'll give you the 4 ways of cooling your wok down to build your confidence so you don't feel like you have to be constantly stirring.
Yeah.
Okay. Everyone can get their hob to a high heat, but when it's smoking hot, what do you do with it?
Yep.
Number 1 is a stir. It's a stir fry.
Yep.
Number 2 is a fold.
Yep.
And a push and a fold. Number 3 is a wok toss.
Yep.
Long push forward and a quick flick back.
Okay.
4 is a tummy and a head.
Yeah, okay.
Right, round, back and forwards. Round with your spatula, back and forwards with your wok.
Okay.
That will cool your wok down very quickly. Left hand in your wok.
Yep.
Right hand in your spatula. I will give you the ingredients, okay?
Great.
I'm going to pour a little bit of oil in the wok and then bring it up to a smoking point. I'd like you to swirl it around just by picking it up and swirl it around a bit to make sure that it's sort of as much around the edges and then back on the heat. This ginger, especially for this dish, you want it to go nice and crispy, almost golden. Yeah. So yeah, give it a little stir, a little fold. Spring onions coming in to do the same, okay? To really flavour that oil. You don't want to lose your sizzle. If you lose your sizzle, you're not stir frying, okay? Right, push everything to the back to allow yourself space for the next ingredient. Yeah. This meat comes in. Now, bring the vegetables or the base vegetables over the top of the meat. Press into the meat, but don't turn it too much. So I'll show you that. Press into the meat to separate it out a little, but allow it to seal on one side before then you go underneath and flip it over. Okay? Right, give it about 30 seconds. Right, now turn it, okay? Yeah, the colour's good. Yeah. And then press down again. Give it another 30 seconds before you then start to fold through it, okay? When the sauce comes in, we're going to start to maneuver what we call wok hay, the heat, around by either folding, stirring, or giving it a flick, okay? Right now, what I want is for it to like catch again before we then start to move it too much. Yeah. I can hear it starting to catch. I can smell it starting to catch. So then I'm going to fold that round. Okay. That's why I'm saying don't move it. On a hob like this, you don't need to move your wok around too much. You just need to know how that hob is working. The veg is going to cook very quickly over the top from the steam that then comes off the bottom of this wok from this sauce. The sauce is going in. When that sauce hits the bottom of the wok, it will start to caramelise very quickly. So I'm just going to go underneath and allow it to do its thing whilst giving it a tummy in the head. This chicken stock will save that whole stir fry. It's almost like you're sealing the sauce and caramelising the sauce instantly.
It smells so good.
That is really important.
Delicious.
If you don't have your wok hot enough at that point, your sauce will not caramelise and it will not stick to the meat how you want it to. Okay.
Yeah.
Right, and what you want now is to deglaze that wok. Yeah. Knowing that all the flavour is on the bottom of it. We don't want to overcook the veg or the venison, and then that dish is done. And we've got some crispy fried onions over the top there. Right, one dish done. The best way to clean your carbon steel wok is with boiling hot water, because you're basically just deglazing that carbon steel. But also the beauty of this is that is literally just water with the residue of the stir fry. So whilst that wok is cleaning, I can steam my dumplings.
Beautiful. That's so neat.
Easy.
Yeah. Look, so how long are we steaming this for? And if I lift the lid, is that...
don't lift the lid.
Do not lift the lid.
Let it do its thing. 5 minutes max. As long as those dumplings have like wilted and the prawns are cooked through, you're good to go.
You're really good.
Yeah, and we can try this in between, can't we?
Yeah,
we can have a little taste.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Well done.
Good job. Okay, this is good. You can see the sort of contours of the dumpling pastry. That's how we know it's cooked.
It's puckered in a bit. And
exactly. Yeah. So we can then just pull that out. And then your dumplings, you see, sitting nicely in the bowl, all shriveled up a little. Let's have a little.
Yum. Really hot.
Yeah, they are hot.
Look.
You see inside. And they've still got a nice bite to them, not overcooked. The prawns are just right. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Jeremy. That was amazing and delicious. Follow us at Sous Chef UK on Instagram or Jeremy Pang Official, and hit subscribe for more YouTube videos.